Hey, hi, hello, and welcome. I'm Court. This is Reading with Court, and welcome to my October TBR. So, we took the month off last month and did not play Welcome to the Danger Zone because September is a month that exists as a teacher, and I really ended up only reading, as of right now, I've only read 4 books in September, and I'm in the beginning of my fifth. So, like, it's a good thing I didn't play. But that means that we need to use August's TBR to determine if we are adding another danger zone spot. So, my board was pretty nice to me in August and only gave me 6 books. Let's go through them together. We had Bury Your Gaze, which I read, Zodiac Academy The Awakening, which I read, Morning Glory Milking Farm, which I read, and then things just kind of take a turn. Paladin's Grace, which I did not read, King of Pride, which I did not read, and Caraval, which I did not read. So, as you can see, it was not a great month, which means when you see me start to play, we will be adding another danger zone to the board, which could be good, could be bad, who knows. Hopefully, I can, start clearing those off and stop accumulating them. But we're gonna switch things up a bit. For my game, I'm going to be using a D8 for my game because the 6 is just moving too slowly, and being in like the heat of teaching and grad school and life, I need to try to get a TBR with like less books on it so that I can have that serotonin boost of finishing my TBR and then, doing the things and all that. But yeah, so next clip is going to be me starting the game, and I'll be back with decisions. All right, welcome back to the danger zone. So, first thing we need to do is roll our d20 to figure out where our next danger spot is going to go. So, that is an 18. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So it's going to go on that red spot right there. I'm going to put it on and find my mount thing because this filming is not working the way I thought it would. Now, full disclosure, I'm filming the rolls before I film any kind of sit-down content because of who I am as a person. But if I didn't mention it in the intro that I'll film later, I'm going to be using a D8 for a while instead of a D6 because I'm like half slumping, half not. And I think I'll feel better with like bigger numbers, possibly. We'll see. I'll probably still end up getting all ones. So roll number 1 is a 2. So 1, 2, free pick. So for my first roll, we're starting off strong with a free pick. And for this, I am going to be reading Hot for Slayer by Ali Hazelwood. This is one of the 6 novellas in Amazon's Scared Sexy collection. So I figured what better time to read it than spooky season. So I'm not going to go into details because like it's 100-something pages. It's not really worth giving a whole synopsis on. But check it out and see if you're also interested, and maybe we can talk about it. All right, well, it wasn't a 1, but roll number 2. Another 2. 1, 2. Blue card. A romance. After that, we landed on a blue space, and we got a romance. And I am going to be doing Space Vampire by Ruby Dixon, which is another novella in Amazon's Scared Sexy collection. Because, like, I wanted to read it anyway, because I'm interested in Ruby Dixon as an author. And what better opportunity than right now? Roll number 3. That is a 5. 5. Also, I just realized I grabbed the D10 instead of the D8. We're just going to roll with it. That was a 5, though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Rolling again. 1. Another blue.
A book with your next book boyfriend.
Okay, up next we got another blue card, and we got a book with your next book boyfriend. And if I was filming this an hour or two later, I would have the physical book in my hands. However, I really want to get this video out, so here we are. But the book that I will be choosing for Next Book Boyfriend is the new release by Lila Sage, which is Soul Searching by Lila Sage. This is a more paranormal take than Rebel Blue Ranch, which I am pretty excited about because I loved Rebel Blue Ranch and I love paranormal romance. So I think combining the two is going to be a really cool, like, little connecty block thing, but also little side perks to reading this book. This is the choice for October for the Not So Indie Archive, which is a book club run by Mel at Mel Lenore Reads and Cassidy at Covers with Cassidy. It is a Patreon perk. So if you check them out and possibly join us and reading that. And it is also the buddy read for Katie at I Would Rather Be Reading's YouTube members for October. At least I think that's what I saw in the poll that ended a little while ago. But yeah, so I am getting ahead of the game, so to speak, on making sure some sort of buddy read situation is actually on my TBR for October.
Pick number 4, roll number 5, but going by picks 4. That is 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Red square. We got a random letter.
All right, let's see what we get for random letter generator. D. I think I can work with D. I can probably work with D. Up next, we got a red card, and we got random letter. And then, as you see by the clip I played right before this, I got the letter D. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I filmed that clip twice. The first time I got X, but my mic wasn't working. And I figured I would rather refilm with sound than have to voice over and do X. So I got the letter D. And with D, I will be reading Dungeon Crawler Carl. So everyone's reading this book. Everyone has their thoughts, feelings, and opinions on this book. Some good, some in the middle, some meh. I'm really looking forward to reading it and adding my voice to the conversation. I'm really excited to dive down this rabbit hole of a series and see what all the hype is about and see what side of the hype train I fall on.
Next roll. 2, 1, 2. Continue a series.
After that was a blue card with continuous series. And I am in the middle of a bunch of series right now. And there was one sequel in particular that I really wanted to get on the TBR this month. Because not only does it, like, follow up one of the best books I read in September, which isn't saying much because really I didn't read that much in September, but this was definitely the closest thing I had to a 5-star read in September. I'm rambling. Sorry. But the book that I have chosen for this prompt is City of Mirth and Malice by Alexis L. Menard. I read House of Bane and Blood in the beginning of September. Well, beginning to middle. It took me a while just because of work and my new classroom is more than I expected it to be, but I did finish it and I loved it. And I don't want to leave the sequel hanging in limbo, so I'm going to try getting it done and getting it read relatively quickly. So, City of Mirth and Malice, making it onto the October TBR.
Okay, next roll. That is, it landed flat. Another 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. A color wheel or random color generator.
All right, so for random color generator, I'm not picking this because this is just what defaulted. Let's see what we got. White aluminum. So let's see what book I have that qualifies as white aluminum. So from the last two clips, you can see we had random color generator, and that for that random color generator, I got aluminum white. Now, originally, I was going to go through my physical TBR, find the closest book I had to aluminum white, and then I had another idea. And we added Falling by Christina Lauren to my TBR. This is another one of the Scared Sexy novellas from Amazon, and I'm going with the white matching because of the wings and the font. I'm pointing because I think I'm going to put the cover here, but we'll see. And I did check with a group of people to get their opinions on if it was an appropriate stretch, and they said yes. Hooray! So I will be using Falling by Christina Lauren to count that prompt.
Next roll. That is a 1, which is purple, which is roll again. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, here we go. A friend picks my book. And then we go all the way back to the beginning.
So the game said, hey, you're almost done? You didn't play in September? Let's do it all over again. So I did land on that dreaded danger zone space right before the end, and I got a friend pick. So I asked one of my very good friends, I sent her a link to all the books in my physical TBR, and told her to pick anything I hadn't read yet. And there's, a variety of length, a variety of sequels. There's middle grade, young adult, new adult, adult, all the genres. And she picked Queen of Shadows by Sarah J. Maas. Probably one of the thickest books that I own. However, I am excited to read it. I've been putting it off because, well, that. And I need the motivation to get to it. So we're going to make it happen in October. I just need to figure out when. Probably, maybe, nope, because I'm out of town both those weekends. Well, we'll figure it out. But she is very excited for me to read this because we've been reading the entire series together. And then I fell off the face of the earth when the books got too long. So we're hoping to get back in the same spot so that we can finish out the series together. But Queen of Shadows is going to be attempted on my TBR once again. So much for the easy month I was hoping for. Let's see. Big numbers, no whammies. Well, 1. A recommendation. Okay, so for recommendation, instead of harassing people, we are going to jump into this fun little spinner wheel. And we're going to be reading Cackle, which I need to look up and figure out the author. But this is a book. So I got recommendation, which brings me to my book form spinning wheel, which, as it usually is in my TBR videos, the book to fill out that form will be in the description below if you have recommendations for me. However, the book I got is Cackle by Rachel Harrison. I have never read a Rachel Harrison in my life. I haven't read a whole lot of horror, as we know, and I'm pretty excited to see if I enjoy this, because I think it could be a good time. It could not be a good time. Who knows? We'll just have to figure it out together. But yeah, I'm going to attempt to read this month. You know that line from High School Musical, like, this is not what I want, this is not what I planned? Story of my life right now. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A free pick. I'm only having a slight mental breakdown at this point. It's fine. Everything's going to be fine. We're going to read good books, we're going to finish this TBR, and hopefully we're almost done. But I got another free pick, and I will be reading My Boyfriends Are All Monsters by Kimberly Lemming, which is, wait for it, another novella in the Amazon Scared Sexy collection. It has a why choose energy to it, which I'm kind of digging. And I've never read from this author before. So I am pretty excited to see like where we go with this story. So I will be reading it, and maybe I'll just do a vlog on the whole series since I currently have four of them on my TBR. Stay tuned. Roll number something. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh boy. A sub-box book. This is going to be quite the TBR. So I'm on another Danger Zone space, as you can see, because you just saw the clip, and I got a book from a sub-box. So currently, I am subscribed to Book of the Month, Aardvark, Owl Crate Romance, Owl Crate Romantasy, and Allurial. And I have a past subscription from like years ago to Owl Crate. And I would count those books in like being able to be picked for this as well. However, that little qualification doesn't matter because I have chosen, it was on my TBR last month and I failed, but I have chosen Lucky Day by Chuck Tingle because I want to read some horror in October because, you know, it is spooky month. And I really enjoyed reading Bury Your Gaze, so I think that Lucky Day could just be a really fun, creepy, weird addition to the TBR. And, like, that cover's insane. Like, I love it. But yeah, so Lucky Day for book number, I don't even know, I'm gonna be honest. I lost count about 4 books ago. I'll see you for my next one. As you can see, we have returned to the beginning. And let's see where we're at. 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Another blue. An author you've loved before. So for this prompt, we got an author I've loved before. And I have chosen to go with Beautiful Nightmare by Katee Robert. This is another novella in Amazon's Scared Sexy collection. And I'm a pretty big fan of Katee Robert. You can actually see her entire Wicked Villains series right there. There's a couple of her books in this stack right here that I may or may not have bought for myself off of Pango for my birthday. But I am a pretty big fan of Katee's and have been wanting to read more of her work. So when discovering that, you know, this book existed as part of this collection, I knew I wanted to read it. And then this perfect prompt came out for me to just sneak it in there. So I will be reading this along with the other 4 novellas that I've added so far. Roll number, yes. 2. 1, 2. Roll again. 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have a blue, which is a friend pick. All right, let's spin this bad boy for my friend pick for my blue card. It spins for so long, it's excessive. Okay, I am going to be reading the first volume of Promised Neverland. Relief has come for at least a little bit because for this friend pick prompt, I spun the wheel and I got the first volume of Promised Neverland, which, while adding another series is not ideal, at least it's a manga, which does read pretty quickly, and I will be able to just kind of zoom through it and move on with my life. I don't know much about this manga. I know my friend Courtney over at Coco's Book Nook is a big fan of it, and I think she might have been one of the ones who put it on my list. But I'm very excited to get into this and see what it's all about, because I feel like anything with Neverland in the title is going to be a pretty good time. Next roll. 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Which is a Book of the Month book. Next we got a pretty big roll, thank God for that D10 that I ended up accidentally using instead of the D8. But I got a Book of the Month book, and I have a lot of these. I have been a member of Book of the Month since 2022, and for a good chunk of that, I wasn't reading at all. So I'm slowly getting through my backlog. There are still like plenty of books that, I haven't gotten to yet. So I have chosen Starling House by Alex E. Harrow. I don't know much about this book, but on Goodreads it's classified as a fantasy horror. I don't know how accurate that is or if it's just like a gothic fantasy, but I'm gonna call it horror for the sake of the vibe, and I will be reading this at some point this month. But I'm just curious. Okay, this one's not as bad as I expected. It's October 2023. So it's only 2 years old instead of like a lot. I mean, I've only been a member since 2022, so that is actually kind of old, but it's going to get read because we're manifesting. The TBR is going to be read. Next roll. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Something outside of my comfort zone. And for my last book, we got outside of my comfort zone. So this could be like an author I haven't read from before, a genre I don't experiment with much, maybe something I previously DNF'd and I'm going to give a second shot. But we're going to go with me being a horror baby, not as in I'm afraid of it, but as in I'm still pretty new to it. And I am picking up House of Beth by Carrie Cullen. Now, as you can see by the little dude here, this is a book that I picked up through Aardvark. And from what I've seen, it's more of like a lit fic type horror, which are technically two things that are pretty out of my comfort zone. So I am excited to read this and see what it's all about and hopefully have a great time and have a lovely home for it on my shelves from now on. Hopefully our last roll. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The end. And finally, we have completed my October TBR. It's a long one. There are 14 books on this TBR. I'm participating in Hollow Weekend by Books with Lexi. I will link the announcement video to that down below so people can see it if they want to. I think that's the only thing I'm doing. I'm also going to be rolling for Tori Between Tori's roll for reads. I'm going to try to combine September and October and hopefully mostly use these books. But because of who I am as a person, there's definitely going to be some mood reads thrown in there, which then further impacts the whole vibe of trying to complete a TBR. But it's fine. I also have 2 weekends in October when I'm going camping, so I doubt I'll be reading then. Yeah, overall, it's about to be a time, and we're gonna believe in me. But there are a couple other books I do need to get onto this TBR, and they're both in that pile, and I don't feel like grabbing them right now. But for my Al Kennedy read-along for the month of October, we are reading both The Score and The Goal, which are the third and fourth book in the off-campus quartet, which we will be having the live show for that at the end of October, beginning of November. We'll see where it falls. But I will be trying to reread those as well. At least the perk of if I don't get those read, I have read them before, so I will still be able to actively contribute in the discussions that I am running. But that is my TBR. She's a beefy gal. I was going to hold up the books, but the stack of physicals I have makes it look reasonable. And it's really not, like, if we look back, like, scroll back through the video, I've got a lot of short books on here. Like, of those three, the only one I think that's over 300 pages is Queen of Shadows. I've got a bunch of novellas. Soul Searching is pretty short. I think Cackle is pretty short. Promise Neverland's a manga. Like, I fully think that this is a 100% doable TBR, which I'm excited about because I want to complete a TBR so bad. and I haven't been, and I'm disappointing myself most of all. So I'm gonna do my best to read whenever I have free time without burning myself out, because we don't want that either. But we're gonna do the thing, and I'm gonna maybe sprint sometime this month so that we can work through it together and I don't suffer. Um, but yeah, so thank you for watching. Let me know what's on your October TBR. Are you reading any of these? If you have read them, do you think they're good? Do you think I'll like them based on what you know about me and my reading tastes? Let me know. But also, I was gonna do a whole spiel and forgot what I was gonna say, so we're gonna. If you have watched this video and are not feeling chatty, leave a pumpkin. It's October. Leave a pumpkin emoji in the comments down below, and I will see you next time. Happy time zone.